Okay, so how would you rate your last date? Gosh, back in my early 20s, I went on a date with this guy. And of course, it was before internet and all that lovely technology. And I get home to a voice message and it said, okay, so rate the date. How did I do? And I thought about this in such a great way of, wouldn't it be awesome to get some feedback on what you're doing? And obviously, as a matchmaker, if you're one of my clients, I sure as heck will have feedback and I can get information. But in general, most people have no idea how they did on a date unless it turns into another date. And so this is a really hot topic. I am Jacqueline, your professional matchmaker with Discover Love Matches. And I want you to watch the video and give some feedback and send me some love, subscribe and like it. And I want to know what you're thinking when you go on your first date. What makes it juicy and yummy? And how do you want to go out again? Or, oh, Lordy, how do people just totally bomb and tank on a first date? You really don't get a chance to make a second first impression. So are you prepared for success? Are you prepared to rock it and have a great date? Or are you kind of like, they always fail, never works, but I'm going to go because I want to prove to you again why dating totally sucks. Because I actually think dating's awesome. I have so much fun, obviously. It's my profession to meet people, and I enjoy this kind of stuff. But it doesn't make it any less difficult and awkward, no matter how much knowledge we have. So what I want to find out from you are, what are your expectations? I've noticed on a variety of our profiles, people will say, do you think you should have a kiss after a first date? And there are definitely dates that I've been on that I'm like, oh, we better kiss because I want to make sure we actually have chemistry or if he's a good kisser. And others, it's like, yeah, no, maybe we'll go out again and we'll see if there's something. I know a lot of love coaches and experts say chemistry is overrated, but I will also say you just need something to spark it up enough. And there needs to be some draw. You're not on a business meeting. You are in an opportunity to make a connection. And the question is, where are you going? What are you going to go do with this? I've talked to people and they go, oh, well, we just talk business if it doesn't work. Well, no, if you go in with the mentality that you are either dating or soliciting business, you're never really present for a date. You are looking for other ways to distract and not to totally just get your flirt on. So I'm curious what you think about, should you be on your phone while you're dating? I know we say we shouldn't, but what are you really doing? I was on a date recently and the guy stopped 3/4 of the way through the date and just kind of looks at me and grabs my arms and just says, thank you for not being on your phone. And I'm like, well, of course, I'm here with you. But to think that it was such a profound thing for him shows that he's been on many dates where women are on their phones. And I had a date, I don't know, not too long ago, but this dude would not stop texting and being on his phone. And every time he said it was his daughter needing help with homework, with this and that. But nothing really sounded urgent, and it was definitely like a Friday night where she could probably have waited an hour. She was in high school. She was old enough, and it was feeling like his daughter was sitting there on the date with us. She was so part of his distraction that either he's not ready to date or he could not even understand or set up any boundaries with his daughter so that she could understand he had something he was focused on. Because, if he is so consumed with her, how is he going to ever make it to another date? Well, ironically, when he started walking me back to my place, because I lived walking distance to the location, he stops halfway and he goes, okay, well, I think that's probably as far as you want me to go. He didn't ask me if I wanted him to walk me all the way home. He just assumed. So then his desire to make sure I was safe and careful didn't matter. So that lost points. And then I never heard from him for about 3 or 4 days. And then he says, oh, hey, you want to go out again? And I'm like, you've done nothing to nurture this, acknowledge you weren't even present on the date. Why would I go out again? And so he completely thought, we were doing great. He's like, oh, wow, I completely missed that. I thought we had a total connection. And I'm like, you have to actually interact with the person to have a connection. And that's so important. We have to stop and think about this. What are we not doing and what are we doing correctly? I also want you to think about what it is that you're preparing for this to go on. Too many times people go into a date with, oh, we'll just see what happens. And I teach that you should have 3 things on your mind of items and activities you'd like to do next. Like, do you have a fun concert coming up? Is there a movie coming out? Is there a favorite dessert place you'd like to go to? Think of a few things. Both men and women should do this. You've probably heard me talk about this before, but I'm going to keep doing it so that when it is going well, you can talk about what's next. I will say over and over and over and over, at the end of a date, we both, men and women, want to know if you're going to want to see us again. And then we will want to decide if we are interested. And we also want to make sure that something's brewing, that there's something growing. And I will definitely tell you that after a date, the first thing our friends are going to ask, when are you going to see them again? And it feels so good when you can say, oh my gosh, yeah, we're actually going to get together on Saturday for this. And I get gentlemen emailing me all the time telling me when their next date is. And they are happy to do it too. So ladies, realize the men want to know if they're going to see you again too. And gentlemen, know that the women want to know if they're going to see you again. And in all of that energy and all of that thought process, I want you to think about what it is that you want to have happen on the date. And, I've talked about the kiss goodnight of expectations that people have, but would you give a kiss goodnight? What are your thoughts on that? Do you like to have somebody that touches your arm or touches your shoulder? Do you want to sit across the table from each other? Do you like to sit on the corners, which I recommend? Because you know what? There's something happens when knees touch at a bar top and you just kind of can touch without overkill. Oof, it can be really good. And if you don't want to sit that close to them, then you probably don't want to go out with them again. And also just thinking about, you have that first location, you have a dinner maybe, or a happy hour, or you're getting a cup of coffee or tea. I really, 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 really recommend have a second location that you can go to where, maybe he pays the first place, she pays the second place. This way you are creating an atmosphere of working together, but you're not trying to go Dutch. You're not trying to make it a big meal. Like you're not trying to do a 5-course dinner on the first date. But what's really important is that you make the choice to move yourself in the right direction towards finding a foundation. You teach people how to treat you. So on that level, you have to show up like you want this to work. I have to say there are a lot of people that just go on dates to prove it doesn't work, and you're wasting your time and you're wasting their time. It's amazing the attitude that brings the results. So on that level of expectation, what are you thinking on the whole rate the date? What are you thinking on the level of how soon should you see each other again? How should they follow up? Some people just, a good night message would mean the world. Other people, they want to just keep on talking and talking. I mean, it takes a lot to kind of readjust a new person, a new energy, a new space. But the question is, what do you go in with that expectation? I'm a hugger. I will always hug. So is a hug something that you would need? And to me, hugging is all the time. Other people are kind of skittish with hugs, and hugs are not comfortable for them. So maybe that won't happen. But what is it that you are looking for? Do you want this to be your last great date? Or are you having fun dating a variety of people? Is that kind of what you enjoy? Is that kind of your thing? Totally good. You need to know what your expectations are. Plus, a lot of people need to take things super, super slow. And they often will meet somebody who is just ready to go whoosh, turbo. And it takes that communication. If your expectation is, I need to learn how to slow things down and build a foundation, you can tell that right out from the start. You can say to them, if we click, I don't want you to think that I am going to hold back in a negative way, but I'm going to hold back in a cautious way because I have been hurt and I am worried, but I really want to move past this. Letting the other person know where you are coming from is so important because your difference in expectations are going to make a huge impact of where these are going in the future. what I have found to be super interesting is that so many people put so much pressure on a first date. They want the sparkles to go everywhere. They want that other person to just look like their future partner. They want to hear the wedding bells going. And if they don't hear it, done. And it's amazing how fast people make decisions that really, it's not fair to be doing that, because you have to think, how did you show up? Where are they coming from? But it's also really important that you go in with the right attitude. I've seen people go, oh yeah, I'm so excited I'm meeting this guy on Thursday because I really want to spend the weekend with him. We haven't even met him, but you're already thinking, how can we start doing things together, which can be very positive. Or is it coming from a place of, I have no plans, I really hope I click with this person? And so it's a matter of looking at dating as building blocks. So obviously the first date is that beginning foundation. And it's also learning how to read the body language. You know, the amount of times that I've been on dates and the person is just not present or overly trying to get close, and they're not reading how I'm feeling. So you've got to look at it as a mirroring response. But what are you expecting? What is it that you want? What is it that you desire? Do you want to exchange phone numbers right away in the sense of maybe you met online or you've been emailing? Do you want to be able to be exclusive right away? Are you looking for that person that is ready for a relationship right away? Are you looking for somebody who likes to take it more casual? You know, what is it that you really want? Like, visualize, think about this before you go on the date so that you go with a level of your own expectation. I have to do it all the time with things that I'm doing, and it makes me really think about, if you don't stop and pause and really think, what do you want out of this? If you're going to go share 2 hours of your life, share intimate private details, what are you going to do with it? What's happening? So I want to know from you commenting, what are your first date expectations? Should you get a good night kiss? Should you get a good night message? Do you want somebody that makes sure you made it home safely? Do you want somebody that walks you to your car? Do you want to walk somebody to their car? Do you want someone that picks up the tab, or do you want to pay the tab? Do you want to split the tab? You know, what are you thinking ahead of time? Are you feeling flirty, or are you feeling business brain? Are you letting your fun and giggles get out and be spontaneous? Are you open? I personally think that a first date should be after the busy day. You shouldn't be trying to get a first date squeezed in a work day. You should not have something you need to hurry off to right after. And it's something that allows you that if you click, you can continue. Now, I have said over the years, a first date should really be an hour and a half to 2 hours, because it's super easy to overdo and spend too much time together and not give us time to process. And then we end up shutting down. So if we have such a long time with somebody on a first date, often what ends up happening is it's almost like 3 dates at one time, and it's overwhelming. So if you decide ahead, this is how long I'm going to give for the date and be available, so that I know that even when it's good, I can say goodnight, because if it's really good, it'll still be good the next day or in a few days when you see each other again. And having those 3 date ideas ready to go, so you've got options, you've got possibilities, is going to draw more energy to let the other person know you're still open, you're still curious, you're still available to see where this could go. So many times people are just kind of like not even thinking about the second date, that they don't even enjoy the first enough to where the other person is going, I'm not getting a very good read. Are they actually interested or not? You need to, kind of do, as I say to some of my clients, do like a little boogie dance and get out all the work brain and insecurities and confusion and overwhelmment, and just have a good time, have fun, let loose, giggle, laugh, have some fun stories, be prepared for it to be successful, and if it is, then you can go on to the next thing. And this is so important for you. This is so crucial for you to go in with a very positive dating expectation and understand, what are you really looking for, and what are you hoping to gain by meeting this person? What do you need to learn to decide if you want to go out again? First date expectations. Make sure you comment below and you add some comments about what you're doing on a first date. And also, I want to know what you are needing to kind of tweak on these first dates to get more successful. Because really, in the world we're living, we're having way too many first and not enough second and third and fourth and fifths in relationship buildings. People are not doing the right things to get started on their first date. So that's why I want to ask you, what are your expectations? What do you need? What do you want? And what do you desire on a first date to make it move forward and feel like you're ready for date number 2?